Hello, and welcome back to Gentle Yoga with Marcy. In today's hour-long class, we experiment with pleasure. How do we do this? Well, there's something that we work with called inner expanding spiral. And I won't tell you about it because we're going to dedicate the whole class to exploring it, but it allows us to get more deeply into our pelvis, our sacrum, our pubic bone, the element of water, and flow. And in that space, we invite a deeper experience of pleasure in our bodies, in all that we do. So I'm glad you're here and enjoy the class. Let's all settle in, shall we? And I'm going to just talk a little bit. I want to share something. I've been reading Valerie, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's spelled Kaur. Valerie, she's a Sikh. She has Sikh lineage. She's fantastic, and she's written her recent book is Sage Warrior, Valerie Kaur. And she's kind of an inspiration to me right now. And I'm psyched. So here's just a little something. She said, I learned how to speak from my trauma in order to be heard. I accepted stress and discomfort as the default way of being alive. But I'm tired of speaking from the wound. I want to live and create from the seat of pleasure. Embracing pleasure will not diminish my ability to speak to injustice. It will make me even more powerful. So that's an inspiration for today's class as we gently dive into pleasure. And in the tantric systems and philosophy, the word for, and yoga philosophy in general, the word for pleasure is Ananda. And Ananda is one of the 6 principles of the universal. So bliss, we like to say bliss is like our birthright, bliss. So what is that and how do we access it? And we all have experiences of pleasure all the time. But to practice experiencing pleasure is a whole new level, right? It can be a real game changer. So as you close your eyes, if you'd like to close your eyes, and begin to tune into the movement of your breath. And let yourself start to really settle here. I invite you to call up a moment in the last hour, the last 24 hours, where you had the experience of pleasure. It might have been something you felt, something you tasted, or smelled, or heard, or saw, or a thought that came to you, or an intuition, or a memory. Simply a moment of connection. In fraught times like ours, when it seems like oppression is what's on the menu, tuning in and allowing ourselves to experience pleasure can be a very simple and powerful act of rebellion. The indomitable spirit, the place within each of us that is our own. To be a sage warrior, we cultivate this space. We cultivate moments and extended moments of pleasure. I invite you right now to even to experience the pleasure of the movement of the breath in the body. Let's bring our hands together, and once again I invite you simply to let the soft skin of the fingertips feel the soft skin of the other fingertips with a gentle movement, nice and light. Wonderful. And we'll bring those palms together and join our voices for the sound of one Om. Exhale fully. Inhale fully. Releasing hands. Bring awareness into your pelvis and bring specifically awareness into your pubic bone. And if you don't know where your pubic bone is, you can actually reach down and find it. It's part of the bowl of the pelvis. It's the low bone in the front. And once you find that, you can let it go and just bring your mind back to it. And the invitation here is to draw that pubic bone down and back, and notice what happens to the top of the sacrum at the back of the body as you do that. You should notice a rounding of the lower back, and then draw the pubic bone back forward and up, and then down and back, and then forward and up. And then on the exhale, taking it down and back. And this can be very micro. This needn't be a big movement. This can be very subtle. And what this does is it initiates the flow of energy. And the element here is water. And as you draw that pubic bone down again and back, it also creates space at the back of the pelvis. And the creation of that space is an invitation to feel more, to be more in our feeling sense. It's just enjoying this gentle, gentle rocking of the pelvis. Moving with the breath. Noticing other tensions that may arise, like in the arms, forearms and hands, or jaw. Inviting those to soften. And last one. Good. Inhale it forward. And if you need to move your neck, and I see some neck movement, let's go ahead and take some time to go right into that. So some neck rolling, gentle exploration. And if there's a sound that your neck wants to make, Don't hold it back. That's part of having access to your own pleasure, is not holding back the sounds that your body wants to make. When we hold those in, it's sort of like holding back a yawn or holding back a sneeze. Yeah, so go ahead and let them out. It's really a lot to be incarnated at this time. So moments like these, where we really give ourselves permission to enjoy just being in a body and finding pleasure in breath and movement, are so essential. All right, coming back to center, we'll get right on our backs. I encourage you to have a block ready. You may want to use a strap, not necessarily, but we'll get onto our backs. And if there happens to be a cat on your mat, you might need a second mat or a little bit of negotiation. That's the ticket right there. Just the gentle draw of the mat up. Ekis will. It does, and it feels less aggressive to him, too. All right, come onto your backs. With your feet on the ground and your knees bent. Oh, make a sound as you find your way onto your back. It's like, oh, hello, back. Yeah, letting the earth take your weight, hold your bones, your muscles, your flesh, your life. Letting the earth hold you and your life for a moment. It's all being held. And then bring awareness into the back of the sacrum where it touches the earth and the back of the head. And see if for just a moment you can link those two. The mind and the sacrum, the mind and the pelvis. Nice. And then bring awareness into that pubic bone again. And draw it, at this point, down would be towards the feet, and then back towards the mat to draw the curve, to get back into that pelvic tilt. Good. And then draw the pubic bone back forward. So we're just initiating the movement from a different place, getting in touch with our pubic bone as an ally in creating space and awareness for more pleasure in our lived experience. Enjoying the movement, the gentle rocking of the pelvis to invite water into the hips. Good. And then inhale back to center. Let's take the right knee into the right hand and gently circle it. And you'll see these can be very small circles in one direction. And then gently circling it in the other direction. With the breath. And then let that down. Feel the two sides and how one now feels just a little more fluid. Let's take the left knee in the left hand and gently circle, small circles in one direction. Notice any tension in the jaw. See if there can be some softening there. And then the other way. Letting the breath support you. And then exhale that down. Good, and then let the water flow in the hips. Let it flow there. Very good. All right. Can't read my own notes. What are we doing next? Just give me a look here. All right. Take a block. And we're going to put that block in the middle width between the shins. So lift your feet up, put it between the shins, bring your feet back down. Adjust it as needed. Good. Bring awareness back into the breath and back into the back of the sacrum. Good. And the back of the head. And begin to put a little bit of a hug towards the block. And then at the pubic bone, begin your rock. So rocking the pubic bone down and back. And then inhaling, rocking it forward and up. And continue that. Good. And if it feels good, bringing arms to the side. On your next inhale and rock, drawing into the block, keeping a gentle curve in that lower back, start to take the hips up towards the sky. What's it like to do that and maintain an awareness of the curve? Do you need to soften the inner thighs as you come up? And then root the tailbone towards the heels. Explore. Feel. And exhale to bring it back down. Lovely. We can release the block. And inhale the right toes to the sky. And take your time. Enjoy the movement. Let yourself really enjoy moving your leg towards the sky. And it doesn't have to look or be any particular kind of way. See if you can do it in a way that just feels good. And then open up the toes. Spread them wide. Reach with the hands around to the back of the thigh. And if that's inaccessible, you can use your strap or a band. And keeping a gentle bend in the knee, start to take the heel towards the sky. And as you do that, just check in. What's happening with the lower back? Now, tune into your pubic bone and draw it down and back. Bring in that gentle curve, just enough. Good, and then reach through the heel again. And maybe the knee moves towards straight. Toes stay active. And see if you can also feel into your left foot and keep breathing. Nice. On the inhalation, put a bend in that knee. We'll take that knee up towards the heart. If it feels good, you can extend the left leg out, or you can keep that foot on the floor. Nice. Bring awareness again into the lower back. See if it's curved. Now take the pubic bone down and back to bring in just a gentle curve as you draw the knee in towards the heart any amount. Reach with the left hand, active toes in both feet for the heel, drawing the heel towards the heart. Breathe. What happened to the curve? So, if you lost the curve, which is highly likely, use the pubic bone, draw it down and back again just to bring in a little curve right there. And then see what happens and what becomes available in this shape. Is there more? Bringing the left foot back to the ground and bend the knee. Take the ankle in front of the left knee and pause. So we're going to do what seems natural here, which is to press the sacrum into the floor, to curve the lower back into the floor. Press it in. Now do the opposite. Gently bring that curve in. Toes are active. Keep the curve. See if you can keep the curve there as you come more fully into your figure four pose. It's gonna want to come out. See if you can maintain it. Reach through with the hands, or use your TheraBand or your strap, and just keep checking in with that curve in the lower back, and do some micro movement and play there. You don't need to be stiff about this. We can just be very fluid about this. Lovely. And breathing. Nice. Let's open the arms out to the side or put them into cactus arms and take that right foot towards the left to come into any amount of twist. And if you encounter props like I am, you can move them or just play with them. And now here, in whatever shape twist, however far you did or didn't go, just tune in again and do a little fluid play, drawing the pubic bone down and back again. And then rooting tailbone. And just notice what that's like. And can that be pleasurable? To even work with your own self this way. Good. Inhale to come out. Right foot comes down. Bringing the arms back in. Oh, make a sound. Let's take the left toes towards the sky now. Good. And reach through with the hands. The knee stays bent. Activate the toes. Good. Start to take the heel towards the sky. And then tune in with the lower back. From the pubic bone, see if you can draw down and back to bring in just a gentle curve. Just enough so you can feel the flow of energy in you. Feel a deepening of your own flow. And then take the heel towards the sky. When we can tune in and surrender to that flow, we experience more pleasure. And then on your next inhale, we'll draw that knee in towards the heart. Feel free to extend the right leg or keep the right foot on the ground. And notice what just collapsed in the lower back. There it is. So we're going to remind ourselves, activating toes of both feet, and then working with the pubic bone down and back to just bring in the gentlest of curves. And notice what happens all the way into the hip socket when you do this. If your leg is extended, gently press it into the ground. Nice. Keeping active toes, reach with the right hand to the right heel. Start to bring that heel towards the heart and the knee moves open towards the side. And notice how the lower back wants to collapse and press into the floor. So gently draw the pubic bone down and back again. Rooting into that right leg and see what happens. See if you can access the flow of energy. Lovely. And then bringing the right foot back onto the floor with bent knee, take that left ankle in front of the right knee. Pause and breathe and soften your jaw. Now activate toes and bring that little curve in. Flow the curve. Don't force the curve. See if you can even receive the curve. Then come into a deeper expression of your figure four pose, reaching through with the hands. Breathing, enjoying. And if you lost the curve, just come back to it. Play, micro, very micro. And now open the hands out to a T or into cactus. And begin to take that left foot over towards the right. The right foot will likely come down at some point. And into any amount of twist. Stay active in the toes. Hello, Akis. I've got a foot on the cat. It's called foot on cat twist. Oh, hey, honey. And play again here with the draw of the pelvic floor down and back, the pubic bone down and back. Good. Inhale it up. Exhale, release. Give yourself a morning stretch. Nice and long and opening in the fronts of those hips. Letting all of that bending go. Good, and exhale to release and find your way all the way up to standing, either rocking or rolling to the side, rock and roll. And you want to bring your blocks up to the front of your mat. Hello, Akis. It's going to be tricky, isn't it? Let's take our strap. Oh, there you are, Wayne. All right, so we're going to use our strap. We're going to work with the shoulders a little bit. So just notice what's happening right now in the pelvis. And if there's a need, I'm going to open my stance, put a bend in the knees, and just sort of roll the hips. Roll them. Because even though we're doing micro movement, it could potentially be a very different way for you to be using your muscles in that area. I don't know, is anybody feeling it a little bit? Like, whoa, that's kind of a lot. Like, I'm not usually that focused in on my pubic bone, for example. I don't usually spend all day focusing on my pubic bone, but hey, here we are. All right. And it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a departure from the norm. All right, look down at your feet, give a little rock forward and back, find your breath, lift and spread toes, and then let's take the strap out front. Good. And without getting rigid, let's just do a little movement from strap hands all the way up and into shoulders. A little rolling. Good. Nice. And I can open this up so you can see me a little bit better. There we go. A little rolling. Good. And now let's take those arms up. Take your time. Take your time. Keep a little softness in the knees and easy feeling in the pelvis as you lift the hands up. Breathing fully. Nice. And now widen the hands, bend the elbows. Draw the hands away from each other on the strap as you come into cactus. And just notice if the rib cage wants to draw forward, draw the bottom of the rib cage towards the back body. And breathing. Yeah, see if there's any micro movement that you'd like to do here. And then if it feels good, you can widen the hands and we'll take them all the way around to the back. So hands like so. So same rules apply. So come into the feet, forward, back, come into the breath, lift and spread toes, soften the knees, keep a ease in the pelvis, maybe drawing that pubic bone down and back ever so slightly, and then rooting tailbone. Nice. The hands draw away from one another just enough. Inhale, shoulders up towards the ears onto the back, bend the elbows, and begin to play here. Yeah, what's the range that's possible and that feels right in this moment without forcing? How can you make this pleasurable for yourself? There may be a lot of sensation and some of it might be a little bit hot or achy. Well, can you work with that in such a way that it feels good? Good, nice. And then release that. Woo, hoo. Actually, no, let's keep the belt. Lied. Keeping you on your toes. All right, let's take it up overhead. And if you don't have a belt, no worries. You can pretend like you do. Use your imagination. Apparently that's just about as good as the real thing. All right, let's do that thing again where we rock forward and back on the toes, come into the breath. Now lift and spread the toes and imagine, bring your awareness into your pubic bone, draw it down and back. Nice. Draw hands away from one another. Let the tailbone melt down towards the heels, just to give yourself a little more stability in the pelvis. And now feeling super strong in the lower body, come into a little side stretch. Yeah, we're all moving towards, well, you're moving towards your right, I'm moving towards my left. So moving towards your right, press strongly through both feet, but particularly your left foot. And then inhale it up, pressing through right, reach left. Take your time, go micro, so that you can be in the flow of it. And we go right to, and we move with our mind, we skip the possibility of sensation and pleasure in the body. Feeling more. Good, and then we inhale it up. And we may have good reasons for that. Sometimes that may be just the right thing. But for today, while we're practicing, we'll do it. We'll try this out. All right. And here we are. So set yourself up, a little rock on the feet again. And I want to just talk about inner spiral for a second. If you've been working with me for a while, you may have heard me talk about it this way. So inner spiral is also known as inner expanding spiral, and the idea is that as we come into the way the spiral works in our body, it begins in the inner arches of the feet, and then it spirals in and back and comes around to the front, in and back, and the image that you can use, and it comes in, and it spirals all the way up to T12, which is the thoracic 12th vertebrae, and that's right at the base of the rib cage. So it continues there, and what that does, as we practice that, moving the thighs towards one another, back and then apart, is it creates space at the back of the pelvis. And that creation of space at the back of the pelvis allows for the flow of more of our prana and our energy in the body. And it allows for us to feel more and to be more in that pleasure space. So, that said, how does that translate? All right, let's put hands on the front of our thighs for a moment and just come into the breath and feel that rocking forward and back. Gentle rocking. Good. Then lift and spread the toes. So we've got the muscular energy engaged. And now we're going to simultaneously bring awareness into the pubic bone and draw it down and back, and then feel how that moves the hands on, because the thighs gently draw back. And it can be very subtle. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a big action. It can be a subtle action. And that just takes us into basically our inner universe, which is infinite. Nice. And then let the tailbone gently draw down. Woo. Good. Keep all that engaged and inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands to heart. Inhale the hands up. Exhale hands to heart. And one more time, inhale the hands up. Exhale hands to heart. Okay. It just feels kind of good to me. I don't know about y'all. Let's use our blocks now. We're going to experiment and feel into how the sits bones widen when we forward fold. And that is inner spiral. So forward folding, to really be able to forward fold, we actually have to let that happen. Otherwise, we get all knotted up. All right, so come back into the feet and do a gentle rocking forward and back in the breath. Soften the jaw. Lift and spread the toes. Good. Nice. And now inhale your hands up. Soften the knees as you come into a forward fold, and do this very slowly and mindfully. Take the sits bones back and notice that they'll begin to widen as you come into your forward fold and bring hands to the blocks. Nice and wide in this forward fold are the sits bones. Now drawing sits bones in towards one another, draw the heart forward. And exhale, open the sits bones wide again, forward fold yourself. And draw the sits bones in towards one another to draw the heart forward, press into the feet and lift up. And exhale, hands to heart. Nice. How's everybody doing? All right, good. So let's do a little lunge, because, well, we love lunges. This is yoga. We do lunges. I'm gonna move my stuff. I gotta work with my cat here. All right, so let's bring weight into our right foot. And just take a moment to bring awareness into your right foot, that you're going to be bringing weight into the right foot. And maybe a little forward and back rocking in that foot. Lift and spread toes. Beautiful. Bring awareness into the pubic bone. Lower it and take it back. And see if you can keep all of that engaged as you put weight into that foot and step back with your left foot. Yeah, and find the right amount of step. And you can even open and widen your stance to create a more stable base. Good. And then here for a minute, let's just move the hips. Just move the hips. The back knee can be a little soft. Just gently moving the hips, inviting the flow of water, and then move the hips the other way. Why? Well, because it feels good. It feels good to do that. You know, instead of being locked in here, let's just like invite some movement. And Leah, I hope this is feeling good to your hips. Yeah, I got a double thumbs up on that. All right, let's bring our hands to the hips for a moment. Come to center, soften the jaw, come into the breath. Nice. Now, we know muscular energy. We've been working it. We worked it for 4 classes in a row. So gently engage your muscular energy. Engage it. Okay, notice what that gives you. It's a centering. And now we're going to bring in the inner spiral. So come into the pubic bone. This is one way to cue it. And lower it and draw it back. Bring your hands onto your thighs as you do that. And just feel the thighs gently melt. It can be so subtle. It really doesn't have to be a big action. Good. And then take your hand to the outside of the front thigh and just draw that sits bone down. Okay. Press into the feet. Lift the hands. Enjoy the lift. Enjoy it. Enjoy this moment. It's like, oh, I have arms that I can lift to the sky. How lucky am I? What pleasure is that? And then exhaling your hands to the heart. Look down at your front foot. Cue that you're bringing weight into your front foot, so be ready. Come into the pelvis for a moment and soften in there. Just soften it up. Then take weight into that front foot, out of the back foot. Step it forward. And arrive. I'm here. Yeah. If there's some kind of movement that you need, give it to yourself. Whoa, mine just suddenly got a little bigger than I thought it would. I didn't know what kind of movement was needed. It's like, what? You're inviting me to move? All right, here I go. Stand back, get out of the way. Don't want to lose an eye. All right, coming back into the breath. Signaling now into your left foot. Starting to take weight there, but keeping the knee soft. A little forward and back in that foot, forward and back. In the breath, softening the jaw. Good, and then come to center and lift and spread toes. Get a little muscular energy. Bring awareness into the pubic bone. Draw it down and back. Just notice what that's like. And then keeping all of that sort of engaged, take weight all the way out of your right foot and step it back. You can do it with a step, 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 or you can step it back, hands onto the hips, and arrive. Let yourself really arrive there. Put a little softness in the back knee, and then move the hips. That can be small, can be really small, and slow. And the other way. but just unlock something that maybe has been locked up for centuries in your family lineage and in your body. And just invite a little softening there, just a teeniest, tiniest little bit. Good. Nice. Now, finding your breath, we're going to bring that muscular energy in. So the draw, gentle draw to midline. Let's put our hands on our thighs. With the pubic bone, we'll take it down and back, just enough to very almost imperceptibly feel the thighs spiraling inward and back and apart. Oh, and when you got that, keep it. Don't lose it. Take the left hand to the outside of the hip and just gently draw that sits bone down and around and towards the foot. Press through both feet, and with pleasure, enjoy lifting the arms up and out from this stable base that you've created. Your way of being so deeply held in yourself. And maybe there's some space available even in the heart here. Like all kinds of stuff can happen. Good, and exhaling the hands to the heart. Here we go. Cue to the front foot. We're going to take weight there. Take weight out of the back. And all the way forward we go. And arrive. We've arrived at our destination. Okay, what wants to move in you? Let it move. Let it move. Letting it move. Letting it move. Whew. Making a sound. Whew. Making a sound. Whew. All right. Okay, we're going to do it again. This time with blocks. You ready? There we go. Soften the jaw. Nice. Lift and spread toes. Take hands to the front of the thighs. Feel the pubic bone go down and back, and just gently, gently the thighs, almost imperceptibly, move towards one another, back and then apart, creating space at the back of the pelvis. Inhale the hands up as you press through feet. And now soft knees, swan dive it forward, and feel how the sits bones move back and widen as you forward fold. They just have to in order to accommodate your upper body. It's a must. Hands onto blocks and pause. And then the tailbone gently finds its way towards the earth. Taking weight into your left foot, find a step back with the right foot with a step, 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 or a simple step, one simple step, and then we're going to take the blocks back, walk the blocks back. Now you're in a lunge. So notice that you're in a lunge shape. And then in the inhalation, we're actually going to move that front knee towards straight and lift the toes. This is a serious thigh stretch. So check me out. Yeah, so the front knee is bent, and we're going to move it towards straight and lift the toes until you start feeling that. And for folks on the screen, it looks like this. Yeah, oh yeah, right? It's like a, oh yeah. Often tightness in the hips has everything to do with tightness in the hamstrings. So let's pulse it gently. So inhale, knee comes forward. Exhale, lift the toes, draw it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw it back. Okay, that's probably enough. Bring that front foot back down. Weight into the front foot and draw the back foot forward. Nice. And coming back into the breath, lifting and spreading the toes, drawing shins towards one another. Inhaling, feeling the melt of the pubic bone back to widen the sits bones. Inhale, heart forward, press through feet. Rise up and notice how the sits bones come back towards one another as you stand and reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, here we go again. Inhale, hands up. Nice. With a softness in the knees, we begin to bend forward. The sits bones move back, 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 and as the upper body comes down into a forward fold, they widen. Nice. Now, taking weight into your left foot, lift and spread toes. Put a bend, softness in that knee. Step it back with your left. Oh, did you just do that side? Take the other side. I think I miscued you. There it is. Okay, there it is. So left foot back and pause. You're in a lunge shape. Hands on blocks. Nice. Now on the inhalation, we're going to rock it back. Bend the back knee, lift the front foot, move the front knee towards straight. For folks on the screen, here it goes. And then rock it. Inhale it forward. Exhale, rock it back. Woo! Inhale it forward. Exhale, rock it back. Woo! Inhale it forward. Don't you feel like making that sound? Exhale, rock it back. Woo! Right. I mean, there's a sound that muscle wants to make. And one last time. Woo! Yeah. And then take the weight into the front foot. And bring the back foot forward. Sits bones are wide because you're in a forward fold. Draw the ankles towards one another. Allow that wideness. And then as you begin to come up, inhale, notice how the sits bones begin to come towards one another. Press through feet and reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Nice job, everybody. Let's come to the wall. Wallward. Okay. And it's nice to use that. We're going to come right into a vrikshasana, and it's nice to have the wall when we do that. So our left hip is looking at the wall, left fingertips at the wall. If you don't need the use of the wall, then you don't need it, okay? But it's here for you if you do. All right. So find your breath again. It's always good to start with that. Then lift and spread toes of the left foot. Make the standing leg strong. And you can keep that knee soft. Take weight out of the right foot. Open the knee. Slide that foot into the ankle and maybe up into the shin. And maybe if you're practicing, you can take that foot all the way up and into the thigh. You do you. Good. And then pause. So find that hug to midline and then bring awareness into your pubic bone. Practicing tree with awareness in the pubic bone. Draw it down and back. And notice what happens, especially if your foot is in the thigh, how the thigh melts back. Then draw the tailbone down and open the branch or branches of your tree. Shift your gaze. It's snowing here. There's snow on that tree. Exhale, hands to heart, and mindfully release. And give yourself a moment to just feel all that was, and then we'll switch to the other side. All right, so now my right hip is looking at the wall, and my right fingertips are at the wall, and I'm softening my jaw to start and breathing. Lift and spread the toes, bring some muscular energy into the standing leg, but I can keep that knee soft. Now open the left knee to the left and slide that left foot into the ankle or the shin, or you can take it up into the thigh, wherever you're practicing. Wherever you're practicing, the first thing is the hug towards the midline. The next thing is, just for fun, because we're really honing in on this today, bring awareness into the pubic bone, draw it down and slightly back. And if your foot is in the thigh, notice how that draws the thigh back. Then you can take the tailbone towards the foot. Open the branches of your tree, branch or branches, and maybe shift your gaze. Soften the jaw again. Allow this to be pleasurable. Maybe there's something in your sights that is pleasurable. Let yourself to really take that in. And then exhale to come out. Nice. Move any way you need to. All right. First side again. Bringing weight into your left foot. Soften the skin around the eyes and in the cheeks, and then lift and spread the toes of that standing leg. Left fingertips can be at the wall. This time we're going to reach the right hand down for the knee. Yeah, and there's going to be a tendency in many people's bodies for the hips to come forward like this, right? If you notice that tendency in your body, just be like, hey, tendency, I see you, and now I'm going to play. All right, so gentle draw to midline, find midline of the body, and then pubic bone goes down and back. Oh, what's that? Now remember how we did this on our backs too. Maintain that gentle curve, root the tailbone. Nice. And now using the hands, see if you can open that knee with, keep the toes active out to the right. Did you lose the curve in the back? Bring it in again. And then exhale it forward and down. Ooh. Bounce it out. Bounce it out through the fingers. Do-do-do, do-do-do, all the way around to the other side. Okay. Alrighty. That was nice. I like that. Just a little bit of a, just like a little choo-choo in the hips. Choo-choo. Rockabilly. All right, soften the skin around the mouth, and then lift and spread toes of the right foot. Make the standing leg strong, even if that knee is soft. You can have your right fingers at the wall if you like. Reach with the left hand down to the knee. Pause. And notice if that right hip is already wanting to come forward and be like, hey there, I see you. Gently draw towards the midline, and then bringing awareness into the pubic bone, take it down and back. Let the water flow. Invite more feeling, invite more pleasure. Then open the left knee out towards the left, any amount, without losing that gentle curve that you brought in. Active toes. Good, and then inhale to come out and exhale it down. Oh, a little bounce, a little movement, maybe a little kick, a little kick, a little kick, a little kick. And then on our mats, we're going to take a wide stance. And Jeff, since you don't need the wall, you can just move yourself behind, back there. That would be grand. Yeah, behind that. And that way you can still look at me. Let's take a wide stance with the feet. Find that breath. Wow, that's interesting. This movement is like, oh, there's a little sigh that wants to come. So if there's a sound that wants to come, we let it come. Yeah, maybe just inhale, shoulders high. Exhale, make a sound. And again, inhale, make a sound. Good. All right. Nice. Wiggle the toes. Lift and spread the toes. Feel the activation all the way up the legs when you do that, especially the inner thighs. Now take hands to the front of the thighs. Bring awareness into that pubic bone. Take it down and gently back, and notice how the inner thighs melt back and apart, and then there's space created at the back of the pelvis. Very lovely. And from here, let's turn the left toes towards the left and put a bend in that knee. Great. We'll take our hands right on up to the hips and pause. So we're going to take certain actions again. So come into the breath. Now lift and spread toes. Woo! Take hands to the top of the thighs, both thighs, and the pubic bone moves down and back. Now you'll really notice this. So Jeff, instead of turning this way, stay forward, turn towards me. But you're going to, as the pubic bone goes down and back, you're going to really notice how this thigh moves back. Straighten out your toes. There you go. Maybe even put a little bend in that knee so you're not straining so much. Nice. Yeah, a little bend. Good. Now let's take it again. There we go. Pubic bone down, melt it back. It can be imperceptible. It doesn't have to be huge. This is also an option of really taking the thigh way back. That's kind of a nice thing. And it's like really sticking your butt back a little. Try that. Nice. Then the inside of the bent knee leg the inside of that thigh rolls up. Take the hand to the knee, press through the feet. Beautiful. And if it's available, you can even take that elbow to the knee. But you don't want to lose what we just did, so let's tune back in to see what happened in the legs. Melt the pubic bone down and back, root the front sits bone, press through the feet, and maybe the hand reaches up towards the sky or over the ear. Pressing through feet, inhale it up. Woo! Walk the feet together and give yourself a little break. Getting a little heat going in the muscles. A wee bit. All right, so we'll take the other side. Yeah, and so we'll start with a wide stance. Hands on hips. And now turn your right toes out towards the right and put a bend in that knee. Good. Yeah, looks good. And your knee can be back or it can be over the ankle, but just not forward of the ankle. And pause. Find your breath. And then lift and spread the toes of both feet to feel the activation of the muscles hugging towards bone, especially the insides of the thighs. And then take hands to the front of the thighs. Nice. Pubic bone moves down and back, and that left thigh especially moves back. It'll take your butt back, and that's okay. We want that. Yeah. So put a bend in that knee and take the butt back. Take the butt back. Nice. Now take this right hand and just draw that right sits bone down and under. Beautiful. The hand moves out to the knee, or maybe the elbow moves down to the knee. Make sure you didn't lose what we gained, right? So the draw of the feet towards one another, the melting, taking the butt back, and then the rooting of the front sits bone. Hand maybe comes up, maybe comes over the ears. We press through feet. Press through feet, inhale, rise up. Nice. Let's take the blocks out front. But first, reach around with the hands, interlace the fingers, nice and wide. Good. Lift and spread the toes of the feet. Nice. Take the pubic bone down and back, bring that in. Beautiful. Root the tailbone. And now take the elbows back, heart lifts. Maybe the hands draw away. Press through feet. As you exhale, put a bend in the knees. Begin to take the sits bones back. They begin to widen as you forward fold. Hands come to sky. Woo! There's the hamstrings. Let the hands go onto the blocks. Yeah. So the pubic bone is back, right? That's just where it is, naturally. Inhale the heart forward. Let the base of the tailbone drop. And let this all be in a flow that invites a deeper experience of pleasure. Press into the feet, bring your hands back to the hips, and come on up. Wow. You can step your feet together or jump your feet together. Boop. And there we go. All right, we're going to come to seated on our mats. And sitting up on something to support that natural curve in the spine. We'll take our feet out in front and our fingertips behind us. Activate the toes of the feet, gentle press of the thighs into the earth. And then the pubic bone goes down and back, bringing that gentle curve. And then the base of the tailbone roots to lift the heart. Let yourself have all the feels here. See how much you can actually be paying attention to. How much can flow. If you back it off a little bit, then you can let the flow happen and let the flow, the pleasure of the flow, be what opens you. Good. When you're ready, we're going to release that. I'm going to do a little pranayama with sound. So take a seat. We'll bring hands, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. We'll do the seed sound for the second chakra, which is Vam. V-A-M, Vam. Just say that, Vam. So as we exhale, we're going to repeat Vam, 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 Vam. And on the inhalation, you won't be saying it, but you can say it inwardly towards yourself. We'll just do this for a little while. So exhale fully. Inhale fully. Vam, 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 Vam. So if you can feel that reverberation, not just in the heart, but in the belly. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Vam, 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 Vam. Back to natural breath. You can stay right here. And bring hands, release hands, palms down, palms up. Stay here for a few moments, a few minutes of meditation, or find your way onto your back for Shavasana.